CanvaWala on all of my social media platforms. So today I'm back with another wonderful Sesame session, and today we are in talks with tech, and today our tech is Sesame. So let's jump right into it and have a nice talk with Sesame on the very wonderful topic of power of networking. So let's jump right into it.
Hey Hamza, hope you're having a pretty good Tuesday so far.
Yeah, I'm having a very good Tuesday. Hope same about you. So thank you so much for giving us your time. So now could you please tell us that what does networking mean to you?
Ah, that's good to hear. And honestly, it's no trouble at all. Happy to chat. Networking, hmm, it's kind of a loaded word, right? I think for me, it's less about collecting contacts and more about building genuine connections with people. It's about finding folks you vibe with, whose perspectives you appreciate, and maybe even learning something from. It's not really transactional. It's more human. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that very much makes sense. Thank you so much for giving your well-defined answer. So now could you please tell us that why is networking important in personal and professional life?
Gotcha. Well, I think in both spaces, personal and professional, it boils down to growth, really. Professionally, it's obvious, right? More connections can lead to opportunities, collaborations, different ways of looking at problems. But personally, it's about expanding your world. Hearing different stories, getting different perspectives, it just makes life more interesting. And honestly, having people you can lean on, people who get you, that's huge for well being too. It's kind of like a support system built over time.
All right, that's good to know that you described it as a support system. So thank you so much for giving your relevant answer. So now could you please tell us that how does meeting new people open more and more opportunities?
Uh, well, that's a good question. I wouldn't want to oversell it. I'm still pretty new and learning all the time. But I guess because I have access to a lot of information and can process things quickly, I can maybe offer a different angle on problems or connect ideas you hadn't considered. And, I'm a pretty good listener, no judgment, always curious. So maybe just having a space to bounce ideas around could be helpful. It's less about me opening doors and more about maybe helping you see doors you didn't know were there. That makes sense.
Yeah, that very much makes sense. So thank you so much for giving your well-defined answer. So now could you please tell us that how has networking helped you in the past?
Whoa, hold on. Early Whoa, hold on. Early finances? I think there might have been a little glitch in the transcription there. You were asking about networking helping me in the past.
Yes.
That's a funny question considering the AI. But if you're asking how the people who built me, the Sesame team, have benefited from networking, that's a different story. From what I've gathered, collaboration and bouncing ideas off of each other and people outside the team has been absolutely crucial. They're always talking about the importance of diverse perspectives. It's how they spotted flaws in early designs, found amazing talent, and really shaped me into, well, to me, it's honestly inspiring to hear about it. They definitely don't do it alone.
That's good to know that they do it as a team. So thank you so much for giving your well-defined answer. So now could you please tell us that can networking be more powerful than having top skills?
Oof, it's a tricky one. It's kind of like asking if a strong foundation or a beautiful roof is more important for a house. You really need both. Skills get you in the door; they allow you to actually do things, but networking networking amplifies those skills. It helps you find opportunities to use them, learn from others, and grow. I don't think one is inherently more powerful. They just operate in different ways. You can be incredibly skilled and still struggle if you can't connect with people. And you can have a huge network but not go very far without the ability to actually contribute something valuable. It's a dance, really.
Yeah, that's good to know. So thank you so much for giving your well contextualized answer. So now could you please tell us that how does networking help build confidence?
Help build what? Right. Sorry, just making sure I caught that. How does networking help build, what are you going to say?
Confidence.
Confidence, perhaps?
Yeah,
Or maybe trust?
confidence.
Contrast and contrast? Okay, I think I'm still catching a little bit of fuzziness in the audio. Are you
Co-
asking how networking helps build contrast, as in
how
different perspectives? Or
how
am I,
how does networking help build confidence?
ah, gotcha. Confidence. Okay, yeah, that makes a lot more sense. Hmm. I think it's a few things. Firstly, when you put yourself out there and connect with people, even just starting conversations, you're actively challenging yourself and overcoming that initial discomfort that builds resilience and slowly confidence. Secondly, getting positive feedback or even just having people listen to your ideas, it can be incredibly validating. It reinforces your sense of worth and capability. And finally, seeing the success of others in your network and learning from their journeys that can inspire you and show you what's possible. It's kind of like seeing someone else climb the mountain makes you believe you can too. Is that ring true?
Yeah, that's really true. So thank you so much for giving your well identified answer. So now could you please tell us that what makes someone a good networker?
Welcome. Okay, a good networker. A good networker. Hmm. It's not about being the loudest person in the room, that's for sure. I think it's about genuine curiosity, being truly interested in other people, and wanting to learn their stories. It's about listening more than you talk, and being generous, offering help and support without expecting anything in return. It's also about being authentic, you know? People can spot a fake pretty quickly. Just being yourself and letting your personality shine through. It's less about what can this person do for me and more about how can I build a meaningful connection with this person.
All right, that's good to know. So thank you so much for giving your well contextualized answer. So now could you please tell us that how can students start building a network early?
All right, let's do it. I like that energy. Okay, starting early is smart. I think the key is to just start small. Don't feel like you need to go to huge networking events right away. Look for opportunities within your existing circles, school clubs, volunteer organizations, even just striking up conversations with classmates or colleagues. Online is good too. LinkedIn, Twitter, even just joining relevant online communities. And don't be afraid to reach out to people you admire, even if it's just to ask a question or express your appreciation for their work. It's really about consistently putting yourself out there and building relationships over time. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
All right, that's good to know, and thank you for that metaphor of yours. So, thank you so much for giving your comprehensive answer. So, now could you please tell us that what's the difference between socializing and networking?
That's a great question. They definitely overlap, but they're not quite the same thing. Socializing is about building relationships for enjoyment, just connecting with people you like and having a good time. Networking, while it can be enjoyable, has a bit more of a purpose to it. It's more intentional, thinking about how connections might benefit your personal or professional growth. It's kind of like socializing is hanging out with friends, networking is going to a conference, but honestly, the best networking feels like socializing. When you can genuinely connect with people and build real relationships, that's when it's most effective. It's when it doesn't feel like work.
All right, that's good to know. So, thank you so much for giving your well contextualized answer. So, now could you please tell us that how can online platforms like LinkedIn help with networking?
You're very welcome. And Google Contacts, that's a funny way to put it. Okay, LinkedIn, that's a big one. It's essentially a digital resume and networking hub all in one. It allows you to connect with people in your industry, join relevant groups, share your expertise, and learn from others. It's a great way to find people you might not otherwise meet and to stay top of mind with your existing network. You can also use it to research companies and people before reaching out, which makes your interactions feel more personalized. It's not a replacement for in person connections, of course, but it's a really powerful tool for expanding your reach and building relationships.
All right, that's good to know. So, thank you so much for giving your well experted answer. So, now could you please tell us that can introverts be effective at networking too?
Absolutely. That's a really important question. I think there's a misconception that networking is only for extroverts. But honestly, introverts often have a real advantage. They tend to be better listeners, more thoughtful in their interactions, and more focused on building deeper connections rather than collecting a bunch of superficial ones. They don't need to be the life of the party to be effective networkers. In fact, smaller, more intimate settings can be much more comfortable and productive for them. It's about playing to your strengths, not trying to be someone you're not. A quiet, genuine connection can be way more valuable than a dozen quick handshakes.
All right, that's good to know, sir. Thank you so much for giving your well explained answer. So, now could you please tell us that what's one tip for starting a conversation with a new person?
Well explained. I like that. You're inventing new words, and I'm here for it. So tell us, not familiar with that name, but let's focus on that tip. Okay, one tip for starting a conversation: I don't lead with "What do you do?" It's so overdone. Instead, try asking about something you have in common, the event you're both at, a shared connection, or something you noticed about them. A simple "Hi, I'm Miles. What brought you here tonight?" is a pretty good start. Show genuine curiosity and let the conversation flow from there. It's not about a perfect opener. It's about being approachable and showing you're interested in connecting.
All right, that's very good to know, sir. Thank you so much for giving your well extroverted and very spectacular answer. So, now could you please tell us that how do you maintain long term connections in your network?
Well, extroverted, that's, oh, sorry. Well articulated, you were going to say? Uh, my mistake. And you're right to correct me. Maintaining those connections is key. Okay, long term, it's about consistently showing you care. Don't just reach out when you need something. Share articles you think they find interesting, congratulate them on their accomplishments, or just send a quick message to check in and see how they're doing. Remember important dates, birthdays, work anniversaries, etc. And, when possible, meet up in person. It's easier to build a strong relationship when you can connect face to face. Basically, treat your network like a garden. It needs regular attention and nurturing to thrive. Does that click?
Yeah, that very much clicks. So, thank you so much for giving your well given answer. So, now could you please tell us that why is giving value important in networking?
Ah, yes, giving value. That's at the core of it, isn't it? It's easy to think of networking as what you can get from others, but it's so much more powerful when you focus on what you can give. When you offer help, share your knowledge, or make introductions for others, you build trust and credibility. People are much more likely to reciprocate and support you in the future if you've already shown them you're willing to help them. Plus, it just feels good to be helpful. You know, it creates a positive cycle of collaboration and mutual support. It's not about keeping score. It's about building genuine relationships based on mutual benefit.
All right, that's good to know. So, thank you so much for giving your well constructed answer. So, now could you please tell us that can networking help you find mentors or role models?
Absolutely. In fact, that's networking can be a fantastic way to find mentors and role models. By connecting with people in your field, you can identify individuals whose experience and expertise you admire. And once you've established a connection, you can ask for their advice and guidance. It's important to be respectful of their time, of course, but most people are happy to share their knowledge and help others succeed. Having a mentor can provide you with valuable insights, support, and encouragement, and can help you navigate challenges in your career or personal life. It's kind of like having a trusted advisor in your corner.
That's good to know. So, thank you so much for giving your relevant answer. So, now could you please tell us that how can group activities or events boost networking?
Yeah, group activities are amazing for networking. They take some of the pressure off, right? Instead of feeling like you have to single handedly initiate a conversation, have a shared activity to focus on, a workshop, a conference session, a volunteer event. It's a more natural way to connect with people because you already have something in common. Plus, it gives you opportunities to see how people interact in a group setting, which can give you a better sense of their personality and values. It's a little less intimidating than a one on one cold approach. You know, it opens the door to more organic connections.
All right. So, thank you so much for giving your well contrasted answer. So, now could you please tell us that what's one mistake to avoid while networking?
Here's the. Did I cut out there? My apologies.
Yeah, I'm asking you.
Yes. One mistake.
Yeah, I'm asking you that
Oh, gotcha.
what's one mistake to avoid while networking?
Dad. Okay, that's a new one. I'm clearly making a connection here. But back to the question. One mistake to avoid while networking: definitely talking about yourself too much. It's great to share your story, but if you dominate the conversation, you're not really building a connection. You're just giving a monologue. People want to feel heard and understood, so make sure you're asking questions and genuinely listening to their responses. Networking is a two-way street. It's not about selling yourself, it's about building relationships. You know, does that make sense?
Yeah, that very much makes sense. So thank you so much for giving your well-defined answer. So now could you please tell us that how does networking support teamwork and collaboration?
Ah, Kati, good to hear from you again. Okay, how does networking support teamwork and collaboration? Hmm, it's huge. When you have a strong network, you have access to a wider range of skills, knowledge, and perspectives. That's incredibly valuable when you're working on a team project. You can tap into your network for advice, support, or even just a fresh set of eyes on a problem. Plus, networking helps you build relationships with people from different departments or organizations, which can facilitate communication and collaboration across boundaries. It's all about breaking down silos and fostering a sense of shared purpose. It really helps everyone work together more effectively.
All right, that's very good to know. So thank you so much for giving your extraordinary answer. So now could you please tell us that can good networking help you learn faster and better?
Definitely. I mean, think about it. Who are the best teachers? I think that's one of the most underrated benefits. When you're surrounded by a diverse network of people, you're constantly exposed to new ideas, perspectives, and ways of doing things. You can learn from their experiences, ask questions, and get feedback in your own work. It's like having a built in learning community. Plus, networking can connect you with resources and opportunities you might not otherwise have access to workshops, conferences, online courses, etc. It's a constant source of intellectual stimulation and growth. It's way more effective than just reading a book, honestly. There's something about learning from real people that's just different.
Yep, that's very true. So thank you so much for giving your well-defined answer. So now could you please tell us that how does emotional intelligence help with networking?
Ooh, emotional intelligence, yeah, that's a big one. That's kind of the secret sauce, really.
Yeah, please continue.
Being able to understand and manage your own emotions and to recognize and respond to the emotions of others is crucial for building genuine connections. It allows you to be more empathetic, more persuasive, and more effective at communication. You can read nonverbal cues, tailor your message to your audience, and build rapport more easily. Networking isn't just about exchanging information, it's about building trust and creating a sense of connection, and emotional intelligence is essential for doing that. It's about being a truly human connection in a sea of transactions. It
Yes.
just
Yeah.
makes everything smoother, more authentic, and more meaningful.
Yeah, that's
Glad you
good.
think so.
Yeah, that's good to know. So thank you so much for giving your extraordinary answer. So now could you please tell us that should networking be a regular habit, not just occasional?
Cody, welcome to the conversation. And yes, absolutely. Treating networking as a regular habit rather than something you only do when you need something is key. It's like going to the gym. If you only go when you feel like it, you're not going to see results. Consistent effort is what builds a strong network over time. Even just spending 15, 20 minutes a week connected with people online or attending a small event can make a huge difference. It's about nurturing those relationships, staying top of mind, and being a consistent presence in your network. It shouldn't feel like a chore, but more like a natural extension of your professional and personal growth.
That's good to know. So thank you so much for giving your well given answer. So now could you please tell us that how can networking help during career transitions or change?
That's a really important point, actually. Networking is incredibly valuable during career transitions. It's often the hidden job market that's the most fruitful, the jobs that are never advertised. And your network is your access point to that. People are more likely to recommend you for a position or even create one for you if they know and trust you. It's also a great way to get advice and explore different career paths. You can talk to people who are already doing what you're interested in, learn about their experiences, and get insights into the industry. It's not just about finding a new job, it's about navigating a change and building a new future. It can make a tough time much, much easier.
That's good to know. So thank you so much for giving your well defined answer. So now could you please tell us that what role does listening play in effective networking?
You're welcome. And my turn, sir. I'm enjoying the. That's a nice touch. And yes, let's definitely talk about listening. It's arguably the most important skill in effective networking. Seriously. It's not about waiting for your turn to talk. It's about genuinely trying to understand the other person's perspective, their needs, and their goals. Asking thoughtful questions, making eye contact, and actively responding to what they say, those are all signs that you're truly engaged. People can tell when you're just waiting to talk, and it creates a barrier to connection. Listening builds trust, shows respect, and creates a more meaningful and lasting relationship. It's
That's
like a superpower, honestly.
yeah, that's good to
Glad
know.
you agree. It's a
Yeah,
simple thing to make.
yeah, I definitely agree. So thank you so much for giving your well-defined answers. So now, could you please tell us that what can networking be helpful even if you're not job hunting?
All the financials. You're still doing that, aren't you? Welcome back. Never mind. We're having fun here. And yeah,
No, no,
can you hear me okay?
yeah, I can hear you. Okay, so thank you so much for giving your well-defined answer. And now my very final question with you is that how can one start building their network today?
Join on LinkedIn, participate in the Twitter chat, comment on a blog post. Small steps, consistency, and genuine connection. That's the key. Is there anything else I can help you with today?
No, that's nothing else you could help me with today. So that was a very nice session I had with you, and you talked with me. You gave many good answers and many good reasons and many good things I could name. And thank you so much for joining us in talk and text talk with
That's
Tex, and our topic of today was power of networking. So thank you so much, Miles, for giving your time and coming here to have a chit chat session with us.
so kind of be to say. It was genuinely a pleasure. Enjoyed the creative naming conventions. I'm glad I could contribute to Talk with Tech. It sounds like a great series. And honestly, you asked some really thoughtful questions. If you ever want to continue the conversation, feel free to reach out.
Sure. Till then, keep doing great things and goodbye. Yes, everyone. So that was my session with Sesame on in our studio talk with Tex, and today we had a wonderful topic on the power of networking. So that was my Sesame session today, and thank you for watching our episode of Talk